welcome to my Christmas live stream, I guess. I want to do it a little closer to Christmas, but I don't think I'm gonna have time. I know it's still like 3 days away from Christmas, but I want to do another live stream because I had fun with the last couple of ones that I did. I don't know, it's a little early, so I don't know if there's gonna be a lot of people that join for a conversation or whatever, but I figured I would talk about some stuff about Christmas and stuff because it is my favorite time of the year. I am always in the Christmas spirit. It was a little bit harder this year to get in the Christmas spirit though, because this is the first year that I won't be spending Christmas with my dad because he moved to Las Vegas, which really, really sucks because every year since I was a kid, it was the same thing. My parents are divorced because they're degenerates, but I would always spend Christmas Eve with my father, and then Christmas Day I would go with my mother, and that's just been like the Christmas tradition every single year since I was a little tiny baby. And now this is the first year that my dad moved to Vegas. Like I knew my dad was eventually going to move to Vegas, and he was only here because he was taking care of his mother, and then she died, unfortunately, and I knew that he was going to move to Vegas because he has a house in Vegas, and that was always the plan. But it sucks. Like he has two grandkids here, and like I am such a daddy's boy. He's always been like anytime I needed help with anything, I could call my dad and he'd be there in a second. And now it's like I feel like I'm missing something. And the fact that it happened right before the holidays because he moved like a month ago, and I know it's selfish because he deserves it. He's like, I mean, nobody deserves anything, but he merited it because he's such a good guy and he does everything for everybody. And now he got what he has always wanted. He got his retirement in Vegas. He sold his house like 7 years ago. Oh no, almost 10 years ago, 2013 or something. What is that? 8 years ago, and then he moved in with his parents to take care of them, and now they're both dead. So now he got what he wanted and moved to Vegas, and it's very sad, and it's so selfish of me too. But it's like, come on, like I want him here, but it sucks. So that's gonna be the first Christmas without him. But it's all right. It's still gonna be a great Christmas. My daughters are two, and my youngest one is turning one, like right after Christmas. So that's pretty cool. They're gonna my older one's gonna be kind of like in the know of what's going on with Christmas. She's excited to open gifts and stuff. So I'm excited about that. And I'm always excited about Christmas because it's just everything. I've been listening to music nonstop. I found this really gay choir band. I'll talk about that more in a little bit. Called Pentatonics or whatever. I was getting a little bit of pushback for sharing some of their music or whatever. I'll talk about that in a little while. But I figured I would share some of my favorite Christmas memories from my childhood. And because I have some really good ones and one of the best ones. So the first one that I wanted to talk about was when my parents separated, right, which is a sin. They shouldn't have done that at all. But when they separated, my dad, before he bought his house, he moved in with his mom and dad and got the basement apartment until he bought his house like a year later or whatever it was. So I would go visit my dad at my grandma's house, and I would go in the basement where he was and stuff. And it was around Christmas time, and I went into the boiler room type thing, right? And I went in, and there was presents everywhere, and I was like, oh, I found all of my Christmas presents, but the whole entire room was filled with Christmas presents, right? So I was like, oh, I'm gonna open them now. So I start opening these Christmas presents, right? And like the first thing I open is a candle, and I'm like, why would they get me a candle for Christmas? And then I open the next one and it's like a calendar or something like that. And then the next one is like a perfume. And I'm like, what these people, does my grandma not know me at all? Why is she getting me all this stuff for Christmas or whatever? Turns out that was everybody's presents for my whole entire family. And my grandma has 14 kids and like over 100 grandkids. So I opened up everybody's Christmas presents that for that year. So there was probably like over, I don't know, like 100 or so Christmas presents that she took probably hours and days to wrap, and I just totally destroyed everything, and she had to rewrap everything because I thought they were mine because that's how selfish I was. What's the next one? The next one, I was like 12 years old, and I really wanted a motor scooter for Christmas, like so bad, like more than anything, I wanted a motor scooter, and but I was really young, like I shouldn't have had a motor scooter. I think you were supposed to be 16 to get a motor scooter, and like I was such a little spoiled fat brat, and all I was doing was begging my dad for a motor scooter, and he was telling me, no, you're never going to get it. You're never going to get it. And my stepmom, who at the time I didn't get along with, now I love her. She's basically like one of my real mom, like, but at the time I hated her, right? Because I thought that she like broke up my dad and my mom. So I was so mean to her, and I was just being a spoiled brat. My dad kept telling me he's not going to get me a motor scooter and stuff like that. So then, one day I go to my dad's and I'm like, can you, I want this motor scooter. I don't care if you don't get me anything else for Christmas. All I want is a motor scooter, blah, blah. And he was like, all right, how about this? How about we go and we sell some scrap metal that I have in my basement, and then we'll see if we have enough to buy the motor scooter, right? And I was like, fine, we better have enough. If we don't have enough, you need to buy it. He was like, no, if we don't have enough, you're not getting the motor scooter, right? So he said that we were going to take metal, extra scrap metal that he had in his basement, and we were going to go sell it at like the dump or whatever. And then whatever money we got from that, if he had enough, he would buy me the motor scooter. So I was like, all right, fine. So we go to the house, right? Because my dad had a second house. And we go to the house and we go into the basement, and I open the door, and the motor scooter is right there, right? Like completely brand new, built, everything or whatever, right? And I was just like, right? And like I was so happy, but I felt so bad because I was such a brat, and I knew that I just was treating my dad and my stepmom so bad, and I knew I didn't deserve it. But I was like also so happy, and I just like remember that so much. And I remember just going like on rides with my dad, like following him in his car, and me on like on the street in the motor scooter. And I was like 12 years old, so it was super unsafe. But that's one of my like fondest memories. Another one is that my grandpa, before he died, obviously, like he spoiled me rotten. Like every time that that there was Christmas, even when he picked me up, right? And oh, I didn't even look at this. Hey, okay, I'm just looking at the live chat now. Okay, anyway, so what was I saying? Oh, so my grandpa spoiled me so much for Christmas every single year. I was like between like the ages of like 6 and 15, maybe he would give me like between $500 and $1,000 in cash every single Christmas, right? And for my birthday and stuff, when I graduated high school, he gave me like $1,200 or something like that. Like he was just totally spoiling me, Ryan, right? And I remember one year, I don't know how old I was. I was probably like maybe like 13 or 14. I don't know, maybe younger. And we went to his house for Christmas, which is this house now. And he gave me an envelope for Christmas, and I was like, all right, it's gonna be whatever, a couple $100s, whatever. So I open it up, and it's just a $20 bill, right? So now I know that like I'm not gonna act like, oh, that's all you're gonna give me, because then I'm just gonna like look like a spoiled little brat. So of course I go, oh, thank you so much, Grandpa, I love you. And I look at my mom, and she just starts hysterically crying, right? And I'm like, what's the matter? And then my grandpa pulls out another envelope, and it has like a couple $100s in it. And my mom like was like, I'm so proud of you. Even if you didn't think it was a lot, you still acted like it. You're such a good kid, blah blah. And I remember that because I wasn't a good kid, and I was mad, and I was like thinking like, wow, this is only $20, but of course I wasn't going to say that to my grandpa. But I just remember my mom crying because she was proud of me that I didn't like act like a spoiled brat for only getting $20 for Christmas. And then the best memory of Christmas that I have of all time is Christmas 2018, because Christmas 2018 was the Christmas that I found out that my wife was pregnant with our first daughter. It was literally on Christmas Day. We've been trying to get pregnant for like 3 months, and we took like 7 or 8 different pregnancy tests, and they were all negative. We thought something was wrong with me. I would never take the blame for anything, so I blamed it on my wife, and we were not getting pregnant. And so then it was Christmas Day, and I was like, why don't you take a pregnancy test, right? And she was like, no, because then it's going to ruin Christmas if it's negative. And I was like, no, it's not. We don't expect to be pregnant, so just take it and see what it is, you know? And so she took the pregnancy test, and she was like, I can't look at it. So I went in the bathroom, and then she came and followed me, and we were looking at the pregnancy test, and all of a sudden it just bleeped and it said pregnant. And I was like, all right. And like she started crying. We started hugging each other, right? And then we FaceTimed my dad and her mom and stuff like that, which was really cool. They were all crying and stuff. And then we went upstairs, and my mom came over, and my grandpa was there. This was like a year and a half before he died. He was already pretty crazy, like he had Alzheimer's and stuff or whatever, but he still understood some stuff or whatever. But like he was already sick. But we waited until we opened all our presents and stuff, and then I was like, all right, Mom, Grandpa, I have one more gift for you guys. You ready? Right? And my mom was like, what? What is it? And my wife took out the pregnancy test, and my mom starts screaming and stuff like that. I got this all on video too. I mean, I'm already doxxed, but I don't want to dox my mom and my wife and my grandpa, even though my grandpa's dead. But I wish I could show this video because it's such a good video. So she shows the pregnancy test, and my mom's like, oh my gosh. And my grandpa's like, whoa, what is it? What is that? Right? right? And so I take the pregnancy test. I show my grandpa, and he goes, "Oh, is this a camera?" And I was like, "No, grandpa, it's a pregnancy test. She's pregnant." And he was like, "Oh, you're gonna be a father? You're gonna be a father?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he starts crying, right? And then he gives me a hug, and he's like, "You're gonna be such a great father," and stuff like that. And that's just like the best Christmas memory I have, because it was so like emotional and stuff. And then like that was the day that like I mean at this time I already believed in God. I was already nominally Christian. I believed in Christianity, but I wasn't like Catholic yet. And I was still like kind of searching for what the truth was, but I wasn't really serious about it. But then I remember like at that night, after everybody went to bed, or no, my wife was in the shower, and I sat on the couch and I was just like thinking, and I just started like thinking about like all the horrible stuff I did in my life, and how all the people that I hurt, and just like all the selfishness and everything that I did throughout my whole life, getting arrested, getting into fights, hurting women, all this horrible stuff, that I was such a bad person. And just thinking about that, and thinking about where I was now at my life, where now I have like a house and a great job and all this, and these cars and people that love me, and this, and my wife, and now she's pregnant and stuff like that. And like I started crying, like tears of like joy, and like thanking God, right? Because like at that moment I realized that I don't deserve anything good in my life that I'm getting. Like I was such a bad person. I did so many bad things that I deserve to be in jail or dead, and I should have been dead like multiple times. And like just thinking about everything, and it was on Christmas, and my wife's pregnant, and I have all these good things coming in my life. I just started crying and thanking God, like that, like I don't deserve this, And that's when I really decided like it's all because of God, and like I have to like dedicate myself to like learning as much about God and finding the right path and trying to listen to him as much as possible, because without him I would not be where I am today. So like it was like that was a moment of like clarity and gratefulness that got me to like where I am today. And it was just, that's like my best Christmas memory. But I talked about this a little bit about what is this? Teal, I don't know if you donated $2. Um, what is this? I don't know if you donate $2, but I don't have that enabled. So if you want to donate to me, you donate to my Streamlabs or Cash App. I don't get money if you donate it to like the whatever it's called, the super chat thing on YouTube. I don't have that set up. I don't have AdSense set up, so don't donate money to that, because I don't know I don't know where it goes. I don't know how to get it, but I appreciate that. But anyway, I wanted to talk about a little bit. Mark, I see you raising your hand. I'll let you talk after I'm finished ranting about nonsense. I something snapped in me recently, and I talked about this in my last video a tiny bit, where like I am just so over politics. Like it's been like 7 years now that all I do is like research politics. And don't get me wrong, politics is part of the reason that I started to believe in God. Like if I didn't get obsessed with Trump and a culmination of other things, tragedies, and like learning about different things, but if I didn't go through that process of becoming obsessed politically, I would have never found Christ or whatever. So, I understand that there is an importance that led me to this place or whatever, but like I am just so burnt out and over politics. Like I do not care about it at all whatsoever. So for like the last week or so, I've been doing nothing but like reading Catholic stuff and like just watching like videos for entertainment and recreation and stuff like that, and just not paying attention to anything political, because I already know everything. Like I already know the deal. I already know what's going on in the world. I know that they hate white people and Christians, and everybody that doesn't hate white people and Christians, and they're trying to form this new world order with one world government and with no class, no race, no religion, blah blah, all this stuff. Israel controls America, blah blah blah. We know all that stuff. Like nothing new is happening. They're trying to create a police state and kill off all the unvaccinated, all that stuff. I know it. It's like I'm sick of just obsessing about stuff that like I have no control over, and worrying about it. It doesn't do good from like my soul, I guess. Don't get me wrong, like as I said, like I still listen to Nick Fuentes. I still know the deal and what's going on. It's just I'm like removing this like chip off my shoulder, this boulder off my back, where it's like weighing me down, and it's like there's no point in obsessing over every little detail that goes on, because ultimately I'm powerless over it like in the immediate future, and it's just not good for like my well-being and my soul. And like because I stopped like paying attention so much to politics over the past week, I am so much more happier and carefree, and it's just way better for me, I think. And that's like what my plan is and my goals is to just focus completely on my faith and on my family and everything like that, and just not get too like wrapped around in politics. I'm still gonna go to AFPAC though in February, and my dad's coming in February, so that's like that might be the next time that I see my dad is in February. That's so messed up. I just thought of that. Like I haven't seen my dad since November 20th or something. He's been in Las Vegas since November 20th, and now I'm not going to see him until February. That's so messed up. And but that's gonna be fun. Last year I went to AFPAC, and my dad was like, "Why didn't you buy me a ticket? Why didn't you come?" I was like, "Dad, you're like 63. Like I didn't know you wanted to go or whatever." And he was so sad that I didn't bring him. So this year I'm gonna bring my dad to AFPAC. We'll get a hotel together, and then we'll go to AFPAC, and then we'll go shoot guns, and it'll be awesome. And then I'm gonna go to Vegas for 2 weeks in like April or something. But yeah, oh, so I posted this Christmas song the other day by a group called Pentatonics or something, and like a bunch of people were like, "Yeah, it's a good song, but these people are gay," and I'm like, "Yeah, they're they're guys in like a choir group, right?" And the song was "God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen," which is an amazing song, by the way. I've heard it a couple times, but I think I just heard this version for the first time this year, and it's a really really good Christian Christmas song. And people were like, "You know that they're gay, right? You know that they're shilling the vax, bro, right?" And it's like the same thing all the time. You can't like anything because people that are red pilled just purity spiral and don't allow you to enjoy things. And don't get me wrong, when I first got red pilled in like 2017 or whatever it was, like I was the same way. I was like, oh, I can't watch anything because it's Zionist propaganda. Oh, it's anti-white, it's anti-Christian, blah blah, all this stuff. And now it's like, yeah, nobody is on my level. Nobody has the same views as me. Nobody has the same beliefs as me. If I purity spiral and only listen to people that are flat Earth Catholic extremists like myself or whatever, then I'm not going to have anybody to listen to or enjoy anything. I can enjoy a song from people that don't have the same views as me. I can enjoy movies that people that don't have the same views as me. I could understand that there are good, entertaining things that have like bad agendas or bad things behind it, and I don't have to give in to those bad things. I could see it. Just let me enjoy stuff. Like stop purity spiraling. It's so annoying. Anytime I post something from anybody, somebody has a something to say. Oh well, blah blah blah. They think that homosexuals should be able to get married or something like that. It's like, okay, I don't. I still like their music. I still like it's so stupid. I don't know. But I want to talk about Spider-Man because I heard Nick talking about this. He saw Spider-Man or whatever. I saw Spider-Man the first day, and everybody was saying like, "Oh, you're cringe. You see Spider-Man, blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, I like Spider-Man. That's one of like the worst things about me. I vape. I like Spider-Man, and I have really weird, depressing taste in music. Those are probably like the three worst things about me. And I don't care. I like Spider-Man. I know it's cringe. I know it's gay. I know it's just nothing but consumerism. It's not art. It's just whatever. It's just mindless entertainment. But I don't care. I liked Spider-Man since I was a little kid. I still like Spider-Man, and I liked the movie. It was completely nothing but fan service, and it was awesome. I don't mind fan service. It was everything. It was pretty much everything that I wanted. I was like obsessing about it for like a year, looking at all the leaks because I don't care about spoilers. I don't understand how people still care about spoilers. Like, oh, but that's what I wanted to talk about. So whatever. I understand that Spider-Man's gay and stuff like that. I like it. I really don't care. But what really upset me is that when I was in this movie, like everybody there was like fat 40-year-old men that were getting super over emotional at a superhero movie. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy superhero movies, but these people were like jumping out of their seats, clapping or whatever. At one point in the movie, this guy behind me who was like this fat, he looked like the toy collector from Toy Story and Toy Story 2 or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? That fat balding guy that steals Woody. That's who he looked like. And at one point in the movie, he jumped up and he screamed out, "Oh no!" Right, like he was about to cry, and I was like, are you kidding me? And then I saw some other dude go like this during one of the scenes or whatever, because I won't spoil it for you guys, but somebody comes into the movie and somebody was like, oh, like that. I was like, are you joking me, bro? I was like, that you should get this emotional over Christ, over God. Like you should get this emotional in church, not over a superhero movie. Like I understand that I can enjoy things that are stupid, but you getting to the point where you have an emotional response and you're a grown man over a story about a guy with spider powers is really really gay. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous. But all right. Muscle Marinaros wants to talk, so I'm gonna start letting people talk. I'm gonna start unmuting people. Raise your hand if you're in the Telegram chat. If you're in the Telegram chat, raise your hand. I'll unmute you, and we could ask me questions or talk. People watching on YouTube, go to t.me/spexo, and you could join the live chat. Muscle Marinara Groiper, what's up?
Yo, I
Yo.
saw that Spider-Man movie Sunday with my friends
Uh
because
huh.
I go see all the Marvel movies with them. It's like the thing we do,
Hmm.
and I saw people having that same reaction. It was kind of hard to like. not cringe.
Yeah, it was
Because
horrible.
all the people were older than me, and they were like
Mhm.
crying.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody was there. Like, I saw a couple of girls there, right? But everybody was there with like it was either one guy or two guys or whatever, right? And or like a group of guys, but they were all like old. It was not like teenagers or like little kids like you would expect for a superhero movie. It was all like middle-aged guys that were getting so emotional about this movie. It was so annoying. It like it kind of ruined the experience for me. Like I still liked the movie or whatever, but these people just wouldn't shut up and they just started screaming at every little thing.
What I would do is like at the like inappropriate times I would just start crying, like fake crying and laughing and stuff, just to piss people off. Just
There you
just how
go.
ridiculous they are.
That's what you got to do. Okay,
Yeah.
this kid wants to speak. I have a feeling I'm going to end up muting you or kicking you in the first 2 seconds, but let's see what you say. All right, what's up? What's up, Vuki Serb? That's oh, you have to unmute yourself, Vuk,
Vuck.
Vuk. That's what I played Counter Strike with this kid. Oh, there you go. What's up? Let's listen to your accent.
Don't
Yo.
don't call me that. Don't call me a kid.
How old?
Please
How old are
tell
you?
me
16?
where did you get that sweater? I have to know.
Where'd I get it? I don't. I think it was like not Etsy, but they sell it on Etsy. It was like I don't know. Just look up Orthodox icon all over sweater or something, and you'll find the same one. But they have it on Etsy too. I saw somebody post it on Etsy.
Surprising that you would wear a Orthodox one.
Oh, do I have to school you right now, you ortho cuck? I have to. It's not just Orthodox, and icons can be shared between both Orthodox and Catholics, and actually
That's
really Catholics because that's the only true
unique
religion.
Orthodox.
That's like people that say
True.
that like you can only use the Byzantine cross if you're Orthodox. It's not true at all. It's just Byzantine. It's just an Eastern cross. You could still use it if you're Catholic. Icons and statues and all that stuff can be shared between Catholics and Orthodox. It is not exclusive to one specific branch. But anyway, Vuk, are you you're in where are you? Sweden?
Yeah, currently yes.
Nice. And are you doing anything for Christmas?
Well, my Christmas, since I'm Orthodox and we follow a different calendar, falls on the 7th of January.
Ooh, all right. I'm gonna try to be nice and charitable in this stream and not say anything bad. So, do you have any plans for your make believe Christmas?
Based.
You're annoying, but yeah, of course, I'm most likely gonna spend it with my family, and I would like you to remind you not to, say anything personal about me.
Oh, of course, never. Yeah, I was gonna ask you like because I'm not gonna share anything personal that you shared with me, but are you gonna see your family at least?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, good. All right. Well, that's good. Good. I hope you have a good time. I unmuted Midwest Jeff and who else? Anybody else that wants to raise their hand? All you have to do is raise your hand, and I'll unmute you. Midwest Jess, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm just listening, enjoying the conversation. You guys go ahead.
Oh, nice. All right.
Hey, Spexo, I got a quick question for you.
Who's talking? Mark, what's up?
Yeah. I know you're Catholic. Do you attend a Latin Mass? Are you still within like Novus Ordo?
No, I still go to Novus Ordo, and I understand the whole controversy about that. If I could, I would go to Latin Mass, but the closest one is about like an hour and a half away from me. Fortunately, I found a very reverent one, and I mean, it's not as reverent as I would wish it would be, but the priest is very conservative, and the only thing about it is that they don't use Latin, which they're supposed to. But other than that, it's really nice. But yeah, I wish I could go to the Latin Mass, and I recommend that if you can, you should go to Latin Mass. But I also recommend that you shouldn't purity spiral. You shouldn't be like these rad trats who say like, "Oh, if you can't go to Latin Mass, you shouldn't go to Mass at all." That's heretical. That's advocating for you to like engage in mortal sin. And if you don't think that the Novus Ordo is a valid Mass, you're pretty much in heresy. But go on.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I've been going to a Latin Mass. I've been a cradle Catholic my whole life.
Based.
I've been going to a Latin Mass last year and some change, and it's completely transformed my faith. It's just taken it to we went from a kiddie pool to like the deep end. You know what I mean? It just went completely different.
Mhm.
I just hope you and your family have like a great Christmas and everything like that. But I was going to ask you, like,
Thank you.
are there any specific like family traditions you do for Christmas? Because I was talking to some buddies. I'm Polish, so our Christmas Eve is like a huge cultural thing, and just kind of seeing how like some of my other American friends, they don't really do much, and I was just wondering, hey, like, what are you doing for it?
Yeah, I mean, well, because I was secular most of my life or whatever, and basically we just celebrated Christmas commercially, basically. So we never had like any traditions relating to Jesus Christ like we should have. But every year, what we would do was we would go to the tree in Manhattan at Rockefeller Center and take pictures with everybody or whatever, and then we would go out to eat, and then we would go take pictures and see Santa Claus at the mall, and that was pretty much it. And then, like I said, Christmas Eve, we would spend with my dad and my stepmom, and we'd eat dinner then and open presents. And then the next day we would go over my mom's and do the same thing over there. So yeah, that's pretty much the only traditions we had. And like I said, this year is going to be the one that the first one that I don't spend with my dad, which kind of sucks. But yeah, what about you? What's your kind of traditions?
Well, in Poland and everything, we celebrate Christmas Eve. It's called Vigilia, so it's pretty much like a traditional day of fasting, abstinence. You typically you don't eat anything until like after sundown. Well, given where Poland is, sun goes down like at 3 o'clock in the winter, so it doesn't really make a difference. But we just have like like a fish, like beet soup, just like some traditional meals. Then we'll sing like Christmas carols for like an hour as a family. And I think one of the best traditions within Vigilia is that at your dinner table for Christmas or Christmas Eve, you would leave one seat open, like a prepared plate almost. It's an empty plate, but like if someone could just sit in there. And tradition goes that if there's a wanderer, kind of like Christ or Mary and Joseph, they're wandering throughout the village trying to find a place to stay. It kind of commemorates that.
Nice.
So I think it's a really beautiful tradition, and just meeting more people who are not Polish kind of becomes a lot more important. Because I remember growing up, I'm not saying I hated it, but the food, it's not steak and ice cream. It's fish and potatoes and soup. It's not super exciting, but like you mentioned, as you get older, you start appreciating a lot more things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the last thing I was going to say, but your whole sentiment where talking about as you're deepening your faith, politics becomes more of like a side topic. I totally agree with you, and I've met dozens of young guys our age who say the same exact thing. Because once you realize politics is really nothing more than a puppet show, it forces you to find what's real and what's more real than God, and our faith.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I find myself agreeing with that. Like, I'm so tired of politics, man. I honestly, the only thing I do now is like listen to the Bible, and then like Nick Street. And that's it.
Like, politics led me to like Christianity definitely as I started like studying like European history and like what galvanized them or unified them and stuff. And obviously it was the church and like a bunch of other things, but politics was definitely one of the things that brought me back to Christianity, I guess. But also, and don't get me wrong, like you should still try to care about politics in a certain way so you can try to push America towards a more Christian way. But like all I've been doing since 2015 is nothing but obsessing about politics. Who's doing this? Who's cucking this week? What Republican is becoming a traitor? Blah blah blah. All this stuff, and it's like then you realize that like they're funded by the same people and they both hate America, like it's all like just a clown show and nobody cares about you or whatever. And it's like every time I look on the news, it's like just depressing nonsense, but it's the same exact thing. It's not like something new is happening. It's like, oh, there's a new COVID variant. Now there's going to be another lockdown. Oh, now they're going to start putting non-vaccinated people in death camps and stuff. And it's like, yeah, nothing is shocking to me anymore. And it's like, it just like makes me like puts me in a bad mood. It's like a cloud over my head. And like now I would rather just read the Bible, read the catechism, study Catholicism, watch podcasts about people talking about their faith and stuff like that. That puts me in a good mood. That makes me learn more and helps me get deeper and in touch with God. And that's what I want. That's what makes me happy, So like, it's not that I don't care about politics anymore. It's just like, I'm just over it. I'm burnt out. I'm just focusing on Catholicism from now on. And this happened literally in the last week. I've been feeling this way for a couple months, but this last week I was like, yep, that's it. I'm done. I left a bunch of group chats or whatever because for multiple reasons, but also because like it was just too political, and also I'm trying to stay away from like super vulgarity and stuff like that. And it just put me in a way better mood,
Yeah, I totally agree. Because I think there's a point in your life where some boomer is going to tell you, "Do you hear what Nancy Pelosi said today?" It's like, dude, it doesn't affect me at all. And it goes from like I think for the last Nick is he's if without him I would have been still in the dark. I'll still be in like TPUSA, shilling, low taxes, and I never cared too much about Israel. I'll make that known. But it was just the Ronald Reagan libertarians type stuff that he really started pushing. Nick really started pushing the focus on family and how we're gonna what kind of country do we want? What kind of country is it gonna be for our children? And that just kind of like overnight, I was like, this is what I've been wanting to hear for years, and I found it. That's why I'm so appreciative of America First, you, and everyone in the group.
Appreciate
So
that.
I hope you have a super Merry Christmas and a great New Year.
Thank you. You too, bro. Hope you and your family have a great Christmas. And I want to tell you, last year I finally went to my first mass on Christmas Eve last year, and like I was almost crying during the mass. Like it was just so beautiful, and like it really like that is what Christmas is about. Like like all the other stuff is cool, all the songs and the movies and stuff like that. Everything that has been like secularized and commercialized. Of course, we can enjoy that because it still puts us in a good mood and stuff like that. But we have to remember that it's about the birth of Jesus Christ, and just going to church on Christmas Eve, like the day he was born, is just like such a different experience.
I'm very excited to go to mass this year because this is actually like the first mass, like Christmas mass that I'm going to. Where I actually am a Catholic, like I actually believe in it, and it isn't just some like vague notion that like old people used to practice. I actually like believe it, and it's real. I'm very excited, And like the first time that I actually went to church and like seriously prayed, I honestly broke down crying, like. Because I don't even know what it was, but it was like something so overwhelming, but like overwhelming in like a good way, I guess.
Yeah,
that's God.
I can't even.
Yeah, I want to say something as well.
What's up?
So yeah, about the going to church and being overwhelmed by emotion, it's the same for me. It doesn't have to be Christmas Eve, literally anything. When you hear the priest recite things, it just feels so good and it feels so right. But another thing is, when you're actually there and when you actually see how beautiful it all is, you think to yourself, how can anyone possibly hate this?
Yeah.
How can somebody, look down upon this? I can understand, maybe being against things like school or something, things that you are forced to go to, but no one's forcing you to go to church, unfortunately. But it's such a good thing. I think the people that actually, hate Christianity or the church or whatever have never actually, been to a liturgy
Church.
or have never, read the Bible or anything.
Yeah. I saw like I post on Gab sometimes now, right? Because I keep getting banned from Twitter. So I posted something about the Shroud of Turin on Gab, and Andrew Torba, who is the creator of Gab, he follows me, which is pretty cool. He re-gabbed or reposted whatever the thing that I said about the Shroud of Turin, and all of these boomers. Every time like some big account retweets me on Gab, like all of these heretical boomers are in my comments saying the most disgusting heretical thing, like saying that what's it called? Oh, Christianity is a myth. It's fake. Oh, the Quran mentions Jesus 34 times. Who are you to say that the Quran is wrong, but the Bible is right? Somebody was like, Jesus was black and Jesus wasn't white. Blah blah. And first of all, that doesn't even matter. But it's just like, why can't you just like look at something that's Christian and be like, oh, that's nice, that's cool. I'm glad. Like that's how I was though. Like I know that mindset though, because now I'm all about Catholicism and Christ and stuff like that. So I post things and I get mad when people are against it. But like every time when I was an atheist and I used to see people post Christian things or asking for prayers or something like that, I would go out of my way to mock them, right? So I understand that that mindset. It's such like a dark place and I really feel bad for them, but it's so annoying on Gab. There's so many boomers that just don't get anything.
It's like boomers and wignats. Like,
it is. That's what Gab is. Yep. But America First people are taking over now, finally.
Yeah. It's been a little difficult, honestly. Like posting on Gab and stuff. It's difficult because like for every single groiper, there's like 10 wignats, and it's just
Well, you see like you see boomers will post like, oh, it's the Democrats, and like unironically saying all this like cringe stuff. The demon KKK rats, and then you have the Wignats just being total Nazis and only talking about Jews nonstop. It's just they're both so gay, and but like it's funny though because like you can almost expect it when you post something like who's going to be in your comments. It's really annoying though, and I wish there was stricter rules. I've said this a bunch of times. I am not pro free speech like at all. Free speech sucks. Free speech is evil, right? And
if you're
like
pro free speech, you're gay.
Yeah, 100%. Because like I'm pro free speech for the immediate right now. For our political goals, we need free speech because we're the ones being attacked, and we need free speech in order to get in power. If there's any chance it's going to be through free speech, which we don't have right now. But in general, morally speaking, free speech is stupid because there are certain things that we shouldn't allow. We shouldn't allow blasphemy. We shouldn't allow promoting homosexuality or pornography or anything like that goes against God's will. No, free speech should only be.
We should rule this land like God rules heaven.
Yep.
God doesn't allow free speech in heaven.
Right. It's
He doesn't allow you to
Yep, it's kingdom of
disagree with
heaven.
sin.
It's not neoliberal hellhole of heaven. It's not a democracy of
Yeah.
heaven. God is not president.
God isn't
He is
like
king.
every voice is heard. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
he ain't
Yeah.
like that. He's like a monarch. He's like
Yeah.
a dictator.
He is a monarch. Yep. All right. Who is my confirmation saint? My confirmation saint is King Louis the Ninth, who is the greatest Christian king in the history of
Oh, he's awesome.
everything.
He's my favorite.
One of his quotes, the reason that I originally liked him before I even like looked into him, because once I chose him, I looked into him. But before I even looked into him, the reason I chose him was because he had a quote that said the best way to deal with a blasphemer is by shoving your sword all the way through his bowels or something, right? So I was like, oh, that's based. So and he was king. So I picked him, and then I started looking into him, and he was like super Christian. He like made up a bunch of like rules that we still use today and stuff, and he's like the epitome of like the best type of Catholic king. So that he's like awesome. If I could live at any time, it would be in the 1100s in France when he was king.
We'd be right there with you, Spexo.
Yeah.
If I can go back in time,
I kind of wanted to add to what Spexo was saying earlier. I mean, I'm not the same way, but in a sense, I can relate about the whole this not being attached to the political scene right now because it's really nothing new and it's almost like this stale, dry, same old, and just as an example, like I think there was not to get into politics, but like there was an article that came out, I think it was yesterday or today. My home state of Illinois, they're like installing like a Baphomet statue like near or outside Springfield State Capitol. And it's just like you see that and it's like a normal person should be so like, oh my God, what is going on here to this? It's just like, oh yeah, just another satanic idol, a satanic church being, and you're just like, all right, if it's gone this far, then like, what more can be done? We've all been so like conditioned now to where it just like it's so extreme that it's normal.
They just
like I don't blame anybody from like I don't blame anybody from falling out of that kind of stuff because it's exhausting for one, and for two, it really is the same old right now, no matter how evil it is.
I'm sorry, you were talking about the Baphomet statue thing, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I mean, it's not the first of its kind, but it's just relevant to me because it's happening in Illinois
during nativity. But yeah, stuff like this is like when people talk about like a mass awakening or rising up and taking over the government and stuff like that. It's just like such a joke. It's like how much worse do things need to get for that to happen? It's never going to happen. People aren't going to suddenly snap and be willing to risk everything and fight the government, besides the fact that you would never win because they have unlimited resources and there's no way to ever win against the federal government. But it's just like, look at all the stuff they've done. Look what they're doing to the unvaccinated right now. Look at all these lockdowns with all these arbitrary rules. Look at all this evil that they're promoting and everything like that. If there was going to be some type of revolution, it should have happened in the 1970s when abortion was legalized. That should have been the line in the sand that people drew.
I was telling this to a guy at work today. He's like sooner or later. He's like, sooner or later, people are going to say, you know what, enough is enough. And and he's just such a normie NPC. And I'm trying to give him like, 1/8 of a red pill so it's easy for him to swallow. Maybe I'll rub his throat a little bit as it goes down to help it go. But it's just like, dude, I'm like, they're putting people in camps in Australia.
Yeah.
Like what like you're like, yeah, but not here though. I'm like, bro, like how do you not like somebody's going to do something eventually. And it's just like, oh man, I'm seeing you cope in real time. It's like okay, but are you going to be the guy? Are you going to be it's like, well, I'm not going to be. Okay.
Exactly.
It's like, well, it's not going to be me. Who's going to do it? Because everybody's looking around like, all right, I'll follow the first guy that does something, but nobody's going to do it.
Exactly. And the people that do it are usually feds, because it's usually a psyop, because they use that to their advantage too. Once somebody has like a mass shooting or like somebody attacks a government building or something like that, then they use that to just enforce stricter rules. And then you find out all this sketcy stuff that they were like a Freemason or they worked for the CIA or something like that. But you notice all these people, these wignats who like promote violence and all this stuff. And it's like, are you just dumb? Like you're either dumb or you're a fed. That's why it's called fed posting, because if you really believed in this stuff, you would be out there doing this, not trying to get other people to commit violence. It's just retarded.
I notice a trend with like all these people that are talking about we need to rise up. There needs to be a civil war now. Is that it's a very easy trend. They're all vaccinated. So,
And what people don't believe,
like everyone I know that says that kind of stuff,
uh,
they're all vaccinated. So it's like, all right, yeah, you're gonna fight against the government totally.
yeah, and what people don't
Make sure
understand,
you
like
get
a
your booster
civil
shot.
war, like the Civil War was still backed by like aristocratic rich people. You know, like there was still like funding and
Yeah.
stuff like that. There is no power right now that could go against the federal government of the United States. You know, the only way that people could get what they want is if there was a unified civil disobedience. But because of the propaganda and because of the news and stuff like that, where they've just divided the population among cultural, racial, religious, and political lines, that there's never going to be a unified thing where people just go, okay, we're just going to not partake in the system and then shut it down, because they could totally do that. The system is so fragile and depends on the population that if, like, for example, all truckers just decided to stop doing their routes across America, it would shut the country down, and they would have the government by the, I don't want to be vulgar, but they would have complete power over the federal government and get whatever they want, right? Because that cuts down the food supply and everything, you know. And just think about the what's it called, the electrical grid or whatever, the power grid across America, right? If somebody shut that down or whatever, and then almost all of America would like die, like 2/3 of America would die. Like our system is so fragile, and but it's just because we're so disunified and because nobody cares enough, because everybody is just so comfortable in their mediocre lives, that's never going to happen. And people got to get out of this fantasy idea.
And like,
Honestly,
the worst part is like when you start looking at people, like every single person that works at 9 to 5, like they're pretty much right in the face of the COVID vaccine. And for the young people, it might not be as big of a deal, but like I've seen it personally where there's people like my coworkers, they sacrifice their 20s, their 30s, and part of their 40s, you know, to eventually, you know, rise the ranks in this corporate ladder, and you know they sacrifice so much, and all at the end, what's at the end of the tunnel? You better comply, or we'll kick you out, and everything you work for is just out the window. So it puts them in that situation. But if they had God, if they had true faith, they understand, they would see what it is. They see what they're standing in front of. And you know, after 20 years of a corporate job, you'd think you'd have some sort of savings, some sort of investment plan going on that you can, you know, afford to wait something out. Even if it's a year, 2 years, or whatever.
They got to give all their money to Stein & Stein Co.
Exactly.
Well, I actually I respect the people. Like there's this black guy that I know. He's a cool guy. He had like 18 or 19 years on the city job, right, in New York City, and he was like, they tried to make him get the vaccine, and he said no, and so he didn't even like file for an exemption or anything like that. He was just like, I'm not taking it or whatever, right? And he only has like a year or two before he retires, and he'll get money for the rest of his life with his pension, right? And he gave all that up because he has like the principles that he's not going to get the vaccine and nobody's going to make him do that. And like I like that's like really like respectable, you know. And like, but like that is such a minority of people that are willing to do that, you know.
Yeah, most people don't want to give up with like the mediocre things they get. They think that they need the system, you know, when it's really the other way around. Like,
I got a super
really
chat.
sad.
I gotta log into my super chat thing because somebody actually donated to me, which I'm not used to. So, yeah, people watching on YouTube, somebody donated to me through YouTube. Don't do that because I don't have that set up. If you want to donate to me, I appreciate it, and it's Christmas. You should give me money. I like money. Donate to my Streamlabs or Cash App, please.
Jewish behavior.
What happened?
Ben Shapiro moment.
Yeah.
Spexo Goldenstein.
Confirm. All right, chill.
I knew it.
Bexo bomb.
Here we go. I'm trying to figure out how to read the super chat. Like,
Yeah, especially you were saying how people, you know, are not willing to sacrifice absolutely anything for the things they believe in. Like, if you look at revolutionaries and things like that from 100 years ago and before that, they were all willing to sacrifice all types of things, including their lives, for things they believed in. And, you know, they most likely would not be remembered. But you see how cowardly people are today. They're not willing to sacrifice absolutely anything for anything they believe in.
Exactly. Well, that's because they replaced faith with materialism. So before, like the martyrs, like we had martyrs that would just willing to be eaten by lions and just tortured to death for just because they refused to recant their beliefs. You know, they said that, like, they were like, oh, all you have to do is say that Christ isn't the Messiah, and we'll let you go. And they were like, no, just feed me to lions. I'm not going to deny Christ or whatever. And they totally gave up their entire lives because they knew that, like, the bliss of heaven would be better than any type of torture or suffering on earth, right? And now, obviously, in modern times, they've replaced faith with like consumerism and materialism and comfortability, and faith has been put on the back burner. So now people are just afraid to lose their job or are afraid to lose their material possessions, that they'll just do anything and they'll just give in and stuff, and it sucks. So the more people that are actually willing to do that is good, but it's just not a realistic thing in today's society, unfortunately. JPG donated $5. Thank you. He says, thanks for the premium content, big guy. No problem, man. All right, who else is in the chat? Oh, Robach. Okay. Filthy Andre. I unmuted you. Unmute your mic. And Robach4T. Do you guys want to talk? Just unmute your mic.
Yo.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. I just got out of college recently, a few days ago.
Nice. Congratulations. Are you in like 200 grand of debt?
No.
Nice.
The government actually pays it for me, so that's amazing.
Oh, nice. And what'd you go to college for?
I'm doing like a associates right now for like a graphic designer.
Oh, nice. You have like a setup, like where you have a job lined up?
Yeah, something like that. If the government actually wants to help me out when it comes to that, but it really depends, especially how the climate is.
Yeah.
If I don't get thrown under the bus.
Yeah, I feel you.
What country? You understand that the government isn't your friend.
What you say?
The government isn't your friend. You should know that.
Yeah. Well, I was born in the U.S. I'm from
Sorry to hear
US,
that.
but right,
My condolences.
But right now I live in one of the territories of the U.S. called Puerto Rico.
Oh, I've heard of it. I've heard of Puerto Rico. Yeah, I've heard of it a couple times.
Yeah.
Can you tell me where it is?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this foreign land called New York City?
Yeah. Well, I was born in U.S., but been living here for a few years. Then I came back to U.S. and then I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna go end up like my friends in the U.S. End up with thousands of debt. So I decided, you know what, because there's like a loophole. If you're like an American citizen and you go one or two of these territories, you can get like the federal government to pay for your college. That's why I'm not in thousands of debts.
Nice. I am in favor of legally screwing over the government any way you can, so that's good.
Yeah. So I decided, you know what, I'm not going to go to some Cali university. I'm gonna go to a tropical paradise. Well,
so what, you went to Puerto Rico? Everybody was speaking Puerto Rican?
Spanish, yeah. It's kind of obligatory to do it, especially with the more.
Everyone was speaking Mexican there.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially with the more boomerish generations. The generation that's speaking more English is the Zoomer generation. From there, it's broken English, and it's not a good time.
I tell everybody that like you should not go to college unless you have like a plan that you're going to get a degree in something that is going to get you a job immediately. Like, don't go into college like liberal arts and like, I'll pick my major in my second year or something like that, and then get yourself in the debt and then get out of college.
I'm going to college for lesbian dance theory.
That's the best, probably the best thing. You probably actually would get a job in that in today's society. But like, so many of my friends go to college and like I didn't graduate. I went to college for a year, and then I dropped out, and now I have a better job than like 90% of my friends that like graduated college and have like bachelor's degrees, and like a lot of them are still living with their parents and they can't find a job and they have a bachelor's degree, and like, what's the point? And now they're hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt or however much money they owe, and they can't find a job. So if you're going to go to college, do something that you're going to get a job, or I would recommend going to like a trade school. Go to a trade school where you can become like a plumber or like a union carpenter or something like that. Don't just go to college for no reason like I did.
Yeah.
That's
political
right now.
That's why I'm
go to the seminary.
Yeah, go to seminary.
That's why I'm doing an associates, not to like waste like more years of my life. And also I have like a few friends of mine were planning to either start a business or something. That's why we are going to like, hey, you're gonna go to this sector. I'm gonna go this sector. Blah blah blah. If things go well, we probably can start a business and you can do something instead of working for Google or all these Silicon Valley corporations.
Somebody asked what kind of job do I have. I'm not obviously not going to share that information, but just say I work in heavy.
Want a social security number?
Yeah,
too?
and heavy machinery. Yeah, and the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
the next
yeah.
gonna ask me like, yeah, what's my home
What's your
address?
address?
What
What's your
do you own any weapons? You know, like do you want to meet? Like you want to meet and want to buy some weapons?
What's your last
But
name?
what's it called? I was gonna say something.
Are you
What are
Totally
the
forgot what I was
three
gonna
things
say.
back on
Oh,
credit card?
this is premium content right here. This is the best advice that I can give to anybody who is struggling whether they're gonna go to college or not or what they're gonna do. Become Catholic, obviously, and then change rites to the Eastern Byzantine rites, and then go into seminary and become an Eastern Catholic priest, where you can still get married and have kids, but still be a priest. That's the best thing you can do.
Hey, Spesso,
Yeah.
what's the red pill on that? I know my dad, he's always kind of getting in a fight with me, saying like, if the Catholic Church, like, you know, if priests were able to get married, you know, it'd be like a huge advantage for like everyone.
Mhm.
I don't really buy into that, but
Well, it's a
what's the
discipline.
red
It's
pill?
only a discipline for the Latin rite, I believe. Like other rites that are still in communion with Rome have different disciplines concerning whether a priest can get married or not. Like the Eastern Byzantine rite is still in full communion with Rome. They're still 100% Catholics. They just have different traditions and customs or whatever. So the discipline is only for the Latin rite. And the reason that they did that, I believe, was because I guess there was a problem with a lot of like adulterous stuff with priests and
No simp priest.
yeah, no sim priests, and like they wanted them to basically fully dedicate their lives to God and not be distracted by women, So I understand that.
Dude, I totally get that. Makes sense.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I was
just
gonna say
remember
one thing
one
on the
time
college
I had
question. I'm still surprised after like 20 years of like everyone being aware of the student loan bubble that people, you know, are still doing liberal arts stuff. Like the degree I went to, I went to a community college for 2 years. I was working all throughout college. I graduated college with like $100,000 in savings. Like everything was good. If I look around other people, they're like, what? They're like, what are you doing with your life right now? It's like you just threw everything away.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to, you know, sound a certain way.
I don't
but it's
think
like,
getting a degree
you
like the
plan
advanced
this
degree is
out,
throwing
it
your
could be
money
a
away.
very lucrative opportunity for you.
Yep.
You just have to, you know, not think with your dick about which college is going to be the most girls and everything like that.
Mhm.
Just got to think about what's going to set you up, you know, to
Yeah,
find
what's going to get you a good
eventually, to raise
job
a
with
family.
security? Yep, exactly, and like
Exactly, and to give money back to the church.
yep, 100%.
100% minimum.
Like
That's true.
yeah, there's like this arbitrary, not arbitrary, what's the word I'm looking for? Astroturfed, I guess, like fake like stigma against people that don't go to college. It's like, oh, you didn't go to college, or you're uneducated or whatever. And it's like, first of all, I learned more in like 5 years of like just doing research on the internet than I did in my entire school career. So that's first of all, and I'm smarter than 99% of my college friends, right? And second of all of my rich friends that are either have as much money as me or are richer than me are people that didn't go to college, are people that got like union jobs or like got opened their own business or something like that. Like most people that I know, like, okay, here's a perfect example. This is actually, I don't know if my cousin finds this, she's going to be mad that I said this, but so my cousin, I think I told this story actually. My cousin was raised super Catholic and conservative and stuff like that. Right. And then she was always super smart. We never got along. She was always very snotty to me or whatever, but she was kind of like my sister because we lived in the same house for a while. And so like I always had friends and she never had friends, and I would make fun of her and then she would make fun of me for being stupid and all this stuff. So then she went to college, and the first year she wrote a big giant like thesis paper or whatever, or an argumentative paper essay about being pro-life or whatever, and it caused like a big controversy in her school, and like she had to like get her parents to go talk to her professor and stuff like that or whatever, because it was a very liberal school or whatever. And so like she was always super Catholic and super conservative, right? Fast forward 8 years later, right, where she got her bachelor's degree and she's like a teacher and stuff like that. She is now a LARPing communist Bernie supporter and an open lesbian living with her girlfriend. Yeah. Yeah.
She's got to go confession, Nate.
Depressing.
I saw and I saw her at my grandma's funeral. The last time I saw her was at my grandma's funeral, and like so her sister, who is like probably 12 years younger than us, right? And she's probably like 16. I remember she was born when I was like in 6th grade, and so she is basically corrupting her sister because I posted something on my normie Instagram about like the Christian way of family, like the Christian order of family, like it's Christ, then husband, then wife,
Father.
then than kids or whatever, right? And it's like obviously the father is to protect and provide, the mother is to nurture children, take care of the house, right?
Very
And
true. Very true.
so I posted that, and she said something to me. She's like, I hope you're not brainwashing your daughters, and I hope that they get out of there and make something of themselves and become a worker. I'm an independent woman and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm gonna
No eggs.
yeah,
Okay,
I was like,
open and sitting.
I was like,
Cope.
I was being very nice. I was like, hey, I'm just spreading what God told us to do. I was like, I would much rather my daughters, well, hopefully they become nuns, but I would much rather them find husbands and have a family and have something fulfilling in life instead of getting a job, working 30 years in a office where they don't even know your name and just wasting the best years of your life doing nothing and nobody cares about you. I'd much rather have a family or whatever. And then she blocked me, right? So she blocked me, and then the last time I saw them, I saw her and her sister at my grandma's funeral, right? And they would not even like look at me, right? Like I said hello to them or whatever, and they just like basically nodded at me, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever, right? But then my communist cousin, like, she started crying and she gave me a hug finally at the end when we were leaving. But like, it was just like, are you serious? Like, I finally have done something good with my life. You know that I was like a scumbag for like the vast majority of my life, and now that I started trying to be a good person and like living for God and stuff like that, now I get attacked and like hated by everybody. It's insane. When I was a scumbag, when I was treating girls horribly, and when I was like a total just terrible person, like, people didn't care like about me at all. Now that I'm like Catholic and like spreading like traditional views, people hate me. It's crazy.
Spec, so quick question about the woman question, but do you feel that there should be a different type of approach to dating if you're, a secular versus maybe like a Catholic guy? Because I know for all my Catholic bros, the more, and the more respectful, I guess you could say, the more, straight to the point they are with, I guess, some girls, the less success. Like, it just seems like women are women no matter what. So what would you advise?
I don't know. As far as dating, I mean, like, it's really hard for me to give dating advice because I did everything the opposite way you're supposed to. It just happened to work out for me. So like what I did doesn't work for most people or whatever. But like, you want to find a girl. You don't want to be too like purity spiraling or whatever, because in today's modern age it's not gonna fly. But like, if you're dating, you should like be upfront with them about what you want. Like, you're not looking for like a promiscuous sexual degenerate relationship. You want to start a family, you want to have kids, you want all that stuff or whatever, right? And you're not gonna find this usually like on dating apps. Maybe Catholic Match or something, I don't know. But like, you should look
Match is awful, dude.
Is it? I never used it. But
good. It's
yeah.
literally, the thing is, here's the thing with Catholic Match. It's like the equivalent of like Getter and all the quote unquote free speech platforms for Catholics, because what they do is every single app that ever exists, its number one goal is to get as many people using it. The problem with Catholic Match is if you don't pay $30 a month and someone sends you a message,
$30 a month,
you have to wait 10 days to see what they said. Like,
what?
Sent you.
Tinder's not even like that. Tinder was completely free. They had like the super likes thing, but like Tinder was free.
Tinder has a freemium option. You get to use most of that service, but if you want to get unlimited matches, whatever, okay, pay. Catholic Match is backwards, and their whole defense is we have families to feed. It's like, what? What's
That's
the point?
insane.
So I want to say something.
I used Catholic Match for a couple months, and you can meet girls, but a lot of times if you're in a big city like where you are or wherever, good luck. Most people are kind of more in rural areas, and it doesn't make any sense.
I need to read AF. Hold on one second. AF Missourian gave me $10. Thank you very much. Hey Spexo, love the content. We both got zucked on Instagram. Glad to see your account is bouncing back. You're over 1,000. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't been using Instagram like at all. I basically mainly just use Telegram and post my videos on YouTube and Gab occasionally now. But Instagram is so gay. Like, I was so careful with my last 2 Instagram accounts, and they still keep getting banned. Like this is my, I think, 5th or 6th Instagram account. I started with Big Daddy Trump, and then I was Spexo something, and then I was Spexo AF, and then I was Spexo _. Now I'm Spexo __. Like, but like, I don't even post anything bad. Most of the stuff I post is Catholic stuff. I was the reason my 2 accounts ago I got banned was because I was posting anti-vax stuff. So I stopped posting that, and then my last account finally got more followers than I ever had. It was like over 7,000 followers, and I got banned because when Kyle Rittenhouse was pronounced post not guilty, I posted a meme saying, you know that 6ix9ine song where it's like, you're mad, I'm back, haha, whatever, right? So I posted that meme, and that got my account banned. And I was like, what? And it said I was promoting violence. I was like, what are you talking about? He's guilty. It's so gay. Zoomer99 said happy holidays. We don't say happy holidays. We say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, right? Merry Christmas, because that is the only holiday that matters this month. All right? There is no happy holidays. There's no other holidays. It's only Christmas. It's only Christmas. But Merry Christmas.
I got a funny story about
Oh, hold on. He wants to talk. Bronson Johnson, you're unmuted if you want to talk.
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to say something real quick about the whole Tinder dating thing and everything. Almost all of those apps, just like with pornography, are owned by basically the same people, the same conglomerates.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, they're all designed to like rip you off, especially if you're a guy. And they're like, there's a lot of like just general like fakeness to them. So even if you're on like the Catholic match or whatever, it's all just gonna be, it's all just designed just like video games are with microtransactions and everything. It's all just designed to like pull money from you. So you're not, I've done like a lot of experimenting with a lot of those apps. And I don't mean like to make an excuse for like using, but like literally like experimenting to see like how they work. And it's really clear. Like I used like my sister. I used her Tinder too. She was like helping me with it just to see how these things work. And it's basically they're just designed to try to bring as many women in with as many sort of like perks as possible. And then all those same perks are the things you have to pay for to get access to like the messages you're not even maybe receiving at all. There's also a weird thing where how those people promote miscegenation and everything. Being in the areas I'm in and with the traveling I do, I noticed like pretty patterns in sort of the way matches are kind of like delivered to me on that basis. And it's a little weird. It's a little something I suspect they do also, and it makes sense because they've said as much before. But yeah, all the apps, they're all basically just designed to pull money from guys.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it worked for me. Yeah, it worked for me, but I don't promote it because I know it doesn't work for most people. And I wasn't looking for a wife when I found my wife. I was just being a degenerate, and I ended up meeting my wife. But most people are not going to find that. If you want to meet a good girl, meet a girl at church or like a soup kitchen or like a anti-gay rights parade or something, like somewhere that's like gonna you're gonna find a good girl. Don't go to like
anti-feminist parade.
Don't go to like methadone clinics or I don't know, strip clubs or something.
Go to Planned Parenthood. Go to Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Future wife.
And maybe if they're standing outside protesting.
Reckless on the pants question. Should women be allowed to wear pants?
Women should be in full burqas all the time. Like they should only they shouldn't even show their eyes. They should have slits in their eyes and then wear sunglasses. They shouldn't show any skin whatsoever.
$100 super chat in a moment.
But yeah, it's definitely women, and that's one thing that they definitely should do in church is like in Novus Ordo and anything is require people to wear women to wear veils like they used to.
Yeah, that's in the Latin Mass. They do that all the time.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense just because
I'm in a Novus Ordo church, and a lot of the women, not all of them, but a lot of them do wear like veils and stuff. So
really, that's crazy.
Somebody said, if the world is anti-Christian, then why is Christian music allowed on the radio and Christian teaching allowed on the internet? Well, they can't really.
By Jews.
Well, they can't.
I've never heard a Gregorian chant on Spotify.
Yeah. I never heard responsorial. What is it? Responsorial hymns on Hot 97. If you notice that the vast majority of anything pro-Christian is very lukewarm Protestant pro-Christian thing, and it's basically used to get money and to like subvert people, and honestly, like with the evangelicals, to make them Zionists and stuff like that. If you look at the most Christian movie ever made, which is The Passion of the Christ, no studio would take it ever. Because they said it was anti-Semitic or whatever, because it showed the true truth of what happened to Jesus Christ, right? Mel Gibson had to fund that movie entirely by himself. So all these people that are famous and they're Christian, like Joel Osteen and all these other people, they're promoting the prosperity gospel and heretical nonsense that is lukewarm and acceptable Christianity, because they know that they can't completely destroy Christianity. So what they try to do is they try to subvert it and change its messaging and make it something that it's not. So that's the type of Christianity that they promote.
Their type of Christianity is Christianity Christianity with a private jet.
Exactly. Yeah, they're the type of people that say like, "Oh, I had a vision from God that said He needs you to give me $100 million to have a private jet so I could spread the gospel." That's that's the type of gospel that they're
God
spreading.
told me to tell you to give me $60,000 to buy myself a Honda Civic.
Yeah, exactly.
Spexo,
Hi.
on your journey to Catholicism, if I'm not mistaken, you kind of experiment a little bit with like Protestantism, or a little bit, right? You're trying to figure out like what's real and everything like that.
Yeah. So I was looking. I once I accepted that there could be a higher power or whatever, then I started to like say like, okay, well, what God has the most evidence to support it or whatever. So I started like looking into everything, and obviously everything else just didn't make sense. There was no evidence to support it. It was all based on like myths. Like I looked into paganism and read the Prose Edda and all this stuff, and it was all just like mythological stuff, like where you notice that all these before Christ, all these different tribes all around the world and stuff like that would make up stories of like why the weather changes and why other stuff happens in the earth, and they would come up with like myths about gods and stuff like that. So that's how like those types of
the Disney intellectual owned property.
Yeah. Oh, I got.
I was just gonna ask. I was asking because I don't know if you ever gone to like a Protestant service. I've been to one.
I don't think so.
I didn't know what it was.
I can't remember if I ever went to.
Compared to just like a Latin mass or even a really reverent Novus Ordo,
yeah,
you'd be surprised so many people are so lost and so far beyond, because like what we're talking about with Joe Osteen and Protestant services, they tell you what you would like to hear, but a lot of the Catholic masses, it's not a game. Like the priests there are worried about the salvation of your souls. They want to build strong, faithful people. The goal is to end up being a saint. How can you be a Christian and believe that saints don't even exist? Right?
So here's a funny story. So once I accepted that Catholic was the true faith, I was still like, I wasn't serious about it. Like I was like, okay, I think Catholicism is true, but I think that the Catholic Church is in a bad place, and we shouldn't go to a Catholic church because they're not preaching the real Catholic faith, right? This was when I was getting. I don't believe this now, obviously. This was when I was first getting into it, right? So we decided to go to a Mormon church, right? So we went, right? So we thought, well, they're really nice people. They say a bunch of degenerate stuff, and they believe in crazy nonsense, but they're really nice people, and they have lots of kids and stuff. So we went to this Mormon church, and it was all Mexicans, and we were like, what is this or whatever? And they were like, oh, the service is in Spanish or whatever. So we left or whatever, and then luckily we never went back there, and I ended up becoming more Catholic or whatever. But that was like the first church that like
Mexican Mormons before.
Yeah, there's that. Me neither. I thought they were all like super like German and Dutch or whatever.
Or Anglo.
Yeah, it's probably like in Utah.
Yeah, Utah, Idaho, right?
Well, it's growing
Shout out to Awuza.
Yeah, it's growing. Yeah, it's growing in
Yes.
Utah.
Shout out to Wooza and Kai Clips, who are great people but need to convert. Zoomer99, do I think the current Pope is satanic? No, I don't think the current Pope is satanic. Read Infiltration by Dr. Taylor. No, don't do that, actually. Watch Michael Lofton's commentary on Infiltration by Dr. Taylor Marshall. It's like I don't know if I don't like I don't know who is more hard to deal with, either the super rad trads or the super liberal Catholics, because they're basically the same, honestly. They're both equally wrong. But go on. Who's next?
What's the red pill on Dr. Taylor Marshall?
Dr. Taylor Marshall actually got me. He's just like the straw that broke the camel's back, like to get me into Catholicism. Because I was watching like a bunch of debates of Jay Dyer and watching a bunch of Taylor Marshall videos, and then Taylor Marshall basically kind of convinced me. But then once I started getting into like Michael Lofton and all this other stuff, that I started realizing that even though Taylor Marshall, he says a lot of good stuff or whatever, but he's also very clickbaity, and he also is not as knowledgeable as he thinks he is, and he also is very ambiguous sometimes, and like asks questions that like aren't real like questions to ask, like, well, if the Pope is saying this, does that mean he's a heretic? I don't know. I'm not saying that, but if that's the case, then he might be. And like he doesn't, what I'm saying, like he doesn't give definitive things, and he leaves these ambiguous things, and then leads people to
he's acting
like,
just like the Pope of being ambiguous.
to vacantism or whatever. Where Michael Lofton has more nuance, and he could like say like, well, you can interpret it this way, blah blah, all this stuff. And like Michael Lofton definitely red pilled me on Vatican II with like, because I used to be super anti-Vatican II and be like, I can't reconcile like historical traditionalism with Vatican II or whatever. And then Michael Lofton basically broke down every article in Vatican II and showed it. What would be the best way to convince a Protestant father? Like, what are things I should suggest by him to read or watch? I would say watch my video on why Catholicism is the true church, shameless shill. But you could buy him the book by Trent Horn called Why We're Catholic. And there's other books too, like Catholic apologetic books. What is it?
Anything by Scott Hahn will be fine.
He's Catholic. He's a Catholic apologist.
Oh yeah, if you haven't heard about it, dude, he's awesome. I love him.
Scott
Hahn. Look him up. He's
Hahn.
awesome. Yeah, look him
Scott
up. He's awesome.
Hahn.
You love him, dude.
Oh, he looks familiar. Catholic theologian and Christian apologetics. Oh, based. Okay, I'm gonna look into this guy more. He looks familiar. I don't think I've ever watched any of his stuff though. Yeah, but there's a lot of good.
Theologian or theologian?
Theologian or theologian? I think it's theologian.
He's a
I had this. I
theologian.
think I had this question before. Payment received. Somebody donated me. Oh, Diego donated me $2, but I can't see what he said. Hold on. So okay, Diego donated me $2. Thank you very much. And Robot4T. Oh, I think you're talking to me, aren't you? Donated me $3. Said, "Hey Spexo. So a lot of my friends that aren't in the AF community tend to find anti-mandate rallies pointless. But as you, someone who went to an anti-mandate rally in New York back in November, how would you respond to that?" I mean, you could say that anything is pointless or whatever. The point of the anti-mandate rally is like a show of strength, to show that we're not alone, that there are people that won't comply, and just to basically spread the message. And I think the New York rally, the reason that, in my opinion, that it also went so well is because Antifa showed up and we BTFO'd Antifa on their own territory without getting violent, and I think that kind of showed people that they don't have to be afraid. And any type of activism can be good if there is like a ultimate purpose, if you have like a cohesive messaging and a reasoning for being there. These other LARPers that go out and protest and rally and wear like like I don't know, like army gear and stuff like that. Yeah, like and then they're like, "Oh, why are you marching?" And they're like, "Oh, because we can unify." And it's like, okay, what are you unifying for? To show that we're not we have strength and we're not afraid. Okay, not afraid of what? Like it's like you don't have like you don't even know why you're there. It's so stupid. But if you're like, no, we're protesting because we are not going to comply with these vaccine mandates because they are unconstitutional, because we have rights and it's violating our human dignity, and we're here to gather to show that we are not going to give in regardless of what they do, and we're going to fight for what we believe is right. And then when you have these counter protesters come in and whatever, and we're yelling in their faces and showing crucifixes in their faces, and nothing's happening because they're not hitting us and we're not hitting them or whatever, and it shows that like there's nothing to be afraid of, I think that's a good reasoning to protest. It doesn't mean that we're going to get what we want. Like life is suffering, and the more that we suffer, we hopefully will get closer to Christ, right? But it is to try. We even if it is pointless, even if it is futile, we are called to try to spread the truth, right? So.
Spexo, I have for anyone in here. So I have a question. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Who is this? Who's talking?
Byzantine Byzantite.
Who?
Byzantine Byzantite.
Oh, okay, I see. I got you.
The guy, yeah. So my question is, I was just looking up like the holy days of obligation, and I realized it says somewhere that between like the U.S. and like Britain and like other countries, like it like varies, not in terms of dates, but in terms of the days that we're supposed to go to church or whatever. So like I'm wondering, do I like is it a sin if I just go to the U.S. days of holy obligation, or like because I'm not sure really.
Wait, so you're saying that there's different days of holy obligation for one? What rite are you?
I'm Catholic.
I know, but are you Latin rite or Byzantine rite?
Oh no, the Byzantine is just because I like playing Crusader Kings. I'm like Roman Catholic or whatever.
Okay, so you're Roman Catholic, and you don't do you live in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would go by the U.S. days of holy obligation, especially if you're going to a U.S. church. That's what I would go to, because you're going to a Roman Catholic church in the United States. You should follow the United States Catholic calendar.
Oh, okay. It just like it kind of seems weird to me that like depending on the country you are, you only like observe certain days. Like
yeah, I actually never heard of that. That's weird.
So yeah,
because I thought that
I don't remember the website.
Like I think the Byzantine Catholic might have different days of holy days or whatever. But I know like we have the holy days of obligation. Like we had one. What was it? 2 weeks ago on it was like on a Wednesday. It was something for the Virgin Mary. I forgot what it was. Was it a
Feast of the Immaculate Conception?
Yeah, the Immaculate Conception. Yeah. So like we have days like that. But yeah, whatever church you're going to, I would just go by their rules, because usually before Mass they'll announce that there's a day of obligation coming up. What is my take on APU? Is it controlled opposition? I said this before. Whatever. I mean, they're fine, I guess, if they're, but I don't know. They just don't have the oomph and the energy, and they're promoting like this, like, I don't know, what is it, multicultural populism and stuff like that. It's just like it's
multi-class racial populism.
Yeah, it's just it's so like dumb and whatever. But like if they're promoting some of the right values, and I like John Doyle, whatever, that's fine. But the only political movement that I openly support is America First. I think that has the best intentions. I also don't like that like a lot of APU guys like disavow or don't associate with Nick Fuentes and stuff like that. I think that's kind of cringe. But whatever. Anybody who is like nominally at least on our side, I guess, or ostensibly on our side is fine by me, I guess. But I don't really support them or know much about them. What are my opinions on the SSPX? I wouldn't go because I think that it's more important to be in a church that's in communion with Rome than to just go to a church that is like trad aesthetics and stuff like that. Like make sure they're canonically irregular, so nobody could really decide whether they're in schism or if they are I don't even know what the other word is, but canonically irregular. I would just be safe and go to a church that is in full communion. If you don't like the Novus Ordo, go change your rights to Eastern Catholic. Like there's plenty of other options, or go to the FSSP. You know, there's still people doing the traditional Latin Mass. Don't let, because you don't like a certain Mass, lead you into like heresy or whatever. All right. Oh, and they also, the SSPX, I was reading their thing that they're the type of people that say like, oh, if you can't go to a Latin Mass, don't go to Mass at all. That is a mortal sin. Like if you're telling people not to go to Mass because you don't like their certain rites, or you don't, if you don't think a certain type of Mass is valid when the Vatican says it is, then you are in error. You are promoting mortal sin. That's heresy, pretty much. All right. Who else? Anybody else have anything they want to say? Any questions?
Specs, the thing with the SSPX, it's kind of an interesting question because I'm pretty sure this is up to debate, obviously. But I don't really think they are in schism. But I think one of the main points I've heard of SSPX is when they just look at the impact of Novus Ordo from like the moment where, you know, the actual Eucharist goes from only being allowed on the tongue to in the hand. It changes from the body of Christ, the body and blood of Christ, to just a piece of bread, and like all these other problems fall from it.
That's not true. First of all, the Novus Ordo didn't switch the Eucharist on the hand from the tongue to the hand. That happened after, like years after Novus Ordo, where it became a regular thing, and it started because one church did it because there was like some type of circumstance, and then it just kind of spread, and that became like the normal way to do it. And I totally disagree with it. I don't think that you should receive communion on the hand because it's not done reverently. You know, it's you could drop particles more easily. I receive on the tongue. I think everybody should receive on the tongue to be more careful or whatever. But the early church fathers, everybody for the majority of Christian history in early church years received on the hand, right up until like the 800s, and then it became more traditional and more correct to receive on the tongue. But it is not blasphemy or sacrilegious to receive on the hand. The way that it's done now, with irreverence and with the way that they don't even, like, most Catholics don't even believe that it's the true presence of Christ, is disgusting and stuff like that. But that had nothing to do with the Novus Ordo. And the Novus Ordo, as it's supposed to be done, is much more reverent, there's much more Latin to be done. There's still like the incense and all that stuff. Mostly what's changed is like the vernacular, you know, like where there's more English for whatever country you're in. And I was listening to Michael Lofton where he said that if you watch a really reverent, like properly done Novus Ordo, and you watch a traditional Latin Mass side by side, it's very hard to like even tell the difference, you know, besides like some of the language that they use. The problem is that the vast majority of Novus Ordo Masses in America have a lot of liturgical abuses, and that they're not doing it reverently, and that's gone unanswered, you know, and that is what needs to be corrected. That is what needs to help, because not everything that they changed with Vatican II was horrible. There was a lot of good intentions, and there was a lot of some things that were good, but it was the people that were teaching Novus Ordo, or the people in charge that spread what they did and interpreted it incorrectly, that damaged the church. Like, because the original intention was to get as many people as they could to the Catholic Church, and it did the exact opposite. And now it's been 60 years, and they still haven't had another council to try and fix that. And I think if they had another council now, with all the corruption that's going on in the Vatican, they would probably even make it worse, you know?
So do you know when, this is just a historical question, I'm not really too well versed on it, but at what point did Eucharist, was it once served as like an actual, you know, piece of bread? When did it go from that to a communion wafer, for example? I'm assuming that's pretty recent.
That's a good question.
Or
I'm not sure. I'm not sure when.
relatively
I'm not
recent.
sure when that happened, but and I could be wrong because I'm not like well versed in this or whatever. But I'm pretty sure that the reason they use bread and wine obviously is because Christ used it or whatever. But I don't think the specific like that was one of the big arguments with the schism between leavened and unleavened bread. But I'm pretty sure that it's not important what it is because it's the blessing, it's the sacrament that brings the presence of Christ into the bread and
Yeah.
makes
It's
Christ
just the
appear,
medium
right?
that gets
Yeah,
blessed.
it's just it's what's I don't want to I'm going to word this incorrectly, but it's Christ's presence in a special way in the appearance of bread, right? Or the whatever it's called. So,
Right.
it's I don't think it's really important what what it is. They probably use wafers because it's more cost effective or whatever, and
Oh,
it's cheaper. I don't think that there's anything really necessarily wrong with that. And I don't know what they used to use. I'm guessing they used to use like I don't know, like regular homemade bread. I don't know, like just pieces of it. I know that in
Used to make like homemade unleavened bread.
yeah, in Byzantine
So
liturgy, I
kind
know
of
that
like
they mix the wine with the bread and they serve it in like a ladle.
Yeah.
well, like going back to like the old days when they used to before they were received it on the tongue, what they would do is they'd come on up, they'd kneel down, they'd have a cloth in their hands, and they'd put the host on the cloth, and then you like put the cloth to your face, to your tongue.
Oh yeah.
So it was done with reverence and just honors.
Somebody says, "What do you think about not eating meat on Friday?" I try every Friday, and some Fridays I do well, but sometimes I forget, and it's really bad. But the church's position is that is no longer a strict discipline. It used to be a strict discipline where if you ate meat on Fridays, you would be in mortal sin. Now they still ask you for repentance to bring you more virtuous and the suffering to contemplate Good Friday and stuff like that. But now it doesn't have to be meat because meat is no longer considered a luxury because it's so easily accessible now. But I think that if you want to be traditional and stuff like that and you like meat, you should give up meat on Friday. I know a lot of traditional Catholics do that. I try to do that or whatever. But as long as you're sacrificing something and giving up something on Friday, like for Good Friday.
So two-part question. One, do you pray the luminous mysteries in the Holy Rosary or no?
Yeah, I go by, what is it called? Immaculate.com. Rosary. Yeah. So yes, there is the glorious, the sorrowful, the luminous. I think that's it, right? Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. You have the joyful, sorrowful,
gloriful, and
glorious.
luminous. Okay.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot of debate where the luminous wasn't a part of the original like angelic psalter, like the original 15 decades.
Listen to Father Don Calloway. He's got a good response on that one. If you find him, he's got a really good talk in the Rosary.
Who does?
Father Don Calloway, pretty cool guy. He's got a pretty cool backstory. Look that up while you're at it too. He's got
what's his name?
Father Don Calloway, the C.
Okay, Calloway.
He has like the most bizarre backstory ever. It's so cool. Check it out whenever you guys get a chance.
Catholic priest and author. Okay, Conway was born on June 29th, 1972 in Dearborn, Michigan. He spent his early years in West Virginia and grew up in Southern California and Los Angeles and San Diego. He has described himself as angry and drug addicted in his teenage years. Oh, he's me. And is described as a high school dropout. He has said that he was using drugs by the age of 11 and was promiscuous. Hey, he's me. While living in Japan, Calloway became involved with the Yakuza. What? Okay, was not expecting that.
The Yakuza? What the?
He was doing drugs and then got involved with the Yakuza. Okay, now he's not me. I know I was never involved in the Yakuza. And served as a drug runner, running drugs and money to casinos in Honshu. When he was 15 years old, Calloway was forcibly removed from the country of Japan for his criminal activity and mafia involvement. Following his extradition back to the United States, Calloway was committed to 2 drug and alcohol rehabilitation centers in Pennsylvania, New Beginnings at Cove Forge and Charles Fremont Institute. After his failed rehabilitation, he was imprisoned in Louisiana upon turning 18. One night, after declining to go out with friends, Calloway began to read the book, The Queen of Peace Visits Medjugorje. I don't know. He credits this book for changing his life after reading which he converted to Roman Catholicism. Calloway was ordained as a priest. That was a pretty quick change. He read one book and decided to convert to Catholicism and then became a priest. Wow. That's pretty crazy. He has a bachelor's degree in the Franciscan University of Steubenville. That's pretty crazy. Wow. Does he have like videos or something?
Yeah, you can check him out for sure. Yeah, just look him up and you'll find stuff on him.
That's pretty cool.
Thanks for the suggestion. The guy sounds like
yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's insane.
Well, like he was like, I guess he said like he was like this close to getting his pinky chopped off because that's what you do when you're like going up to a certain rank. He was like right there, and then he it just didn't work out.
What did Christ say? If your hand's going to cause you to sin, cut it off. I think they're doing him a favor. You ask me.
Oh my gosh, this kid. Can you explain why you don't think the current pope is satanic? He is shilling the vax and has subverted the teachings of Christ to appease the word. Oh my gosh. All right, I have so many videos and I've talked about this so many times, bro. The pope is not like the almighty God or something like that. He is still a man. He's still capable of sins. He could have his own opinions, political and otherwise. We do not have to agree with every political statement that he makes, or if he predicts the lotto numbers or tells us to get medicine. We don't have to agree with that or submit to that. What we have to do is respect his authority as pope, and any type of doctrinal or dogmatic or disciplinary actions, even if we don't agree with them, we have to submit to them because he is pope. When it comes to anything outside of that, he is still a man and still fallible. We don't have to do that. But to use a bad pope as an excuse to not be Catholic, or to say that the papacy is not valid, is like saying that a bad father invalidates all of fatherhood. It just doesn't make any sense. We've had plenty of bad popes. We have popes that were murderers, incestuous. We had a pope that dug up the previous pope and held a mock trial. We had a pope that was killed because the husband of the girl he was sleeping with came in on them in bed and strangled them to death. We've had a lot of bad popes. That doesn't mean anything. Just like a bad king doesn't invalidate him being king, or a bad president doesn't make him suddenly not president. Same thing with the Pope. He is our leader. He has the authority given to him by Christ, and we have to submit to him. That's it. It's not. It doesn't matter. You know, he has not done anything heretical or changed any dogmas or doctrines. And even if he was a heretic, hypothetically, it is not for us to declare that. We are laymen. We do not have that authority. All right. It is up to the church to decide that. All right. Anyway.
You know, I don't know how many times I've been debating that with my ortho friends. They're like, well, actually, the Pope is not very, Christian. What's going on there?
And then when you talk about Bartholomew, they're like, no, he's not real. He's a heretic. And it's like, what are you talking? What? Doesn't make sense. You know, he's like, oh, we don't have to listen. We don't have to listen to that. We're not in communion. They're not in communion. Like, there's like 7 different sects now of Orthodox people, because like, what is it? Ukraine isn't in communion with Russia or something, and like all the patriarchs don't get along with each other. They can't even form an ecumenical council because Russia refuses to go and stuff. It's like, it's so silly.
Yeah, it's very decentralized, and all my, I know some Romanian friends who are like have an issue with the Serbian Orthodox Patriarch, and then like this, then they're like, oh no, I have a problem with the Russian one. It's like, dude, make up your mind.
Exactly. And if in Serbia, if you are a Serb and you convert to Catholicism, they no longer consider you a Serb; they consider you Croatian. And Orthodox don't believe that the Catholic. What's it called? The Catholic baptism is valid. They think that Fatima and Guadalupe were demonic hallucinations or something. They're the more I learn about Orthodox, the less respect I have for them. Like, don't get me wrong, I know like a bunch of Orthodox people that are very based and like traditional and all that stuff, but they're part of the wrong church. They're heretics. They need to convert just like everybody else. You know, like we have more similarities than Protestants or any other religion or whatever, but it's like you guys need to come back into union, and for you guys to come back into union, you have to accept a bunch of dogmas that you don't accept, like the Annunciation, the Immaculate Conception, the Filioque, all this different stuff.
I didn't know that if.
What?
I didn't know that Serbs become Catholic. I didn't know that Serbs becoming Catholic just make them Croatian.
Well, they call it. I mean, it doesn't ethnically change them, but they consider them Croatian. Like they won't consider you part of Serbia anymore. Like they'll make fun of you and call you a Croatian because you converted to Catholicism. Hello.
The thing about the thing about the meat on the Fridays, is that for like Advent, or is that like throughout the year?
No, that's supposed to be every Friday.
Oh my.
Yeah, every Friday you should be making some type of sacrifice. Like, I mean, if it's not, you should treat it like a day of Lent, I guess. Like, I don't know if that's a good way to explain it. Like, you should give up something that like you like a lot. Like, give up soda if you drink a lot of soda or something like that, or something that you do a lot that you don't need, that is like luxury or recreational or something like that. Make a sacrifice on Friday for Jesus Christ, to commemorate Good Friday.
Damn, that looks like I need to give up pizza then. My uncle always brings pizza. My uncle always brings pizza on Fridays. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. Then looks like no pizza for me.
Yeah. I can't give up pizza. I'm Italian. I can't do that.
Yeah, there was when I first started like trying to practice not eating meat and stuff like that. I think it was on during Lent, like it was the first Friday, and I was working with somebody, and they were like, oh, you want to stop and get something? And I was like, no, we wanted to go to like this chicken place or something. And I was like, no, I can't eat meat. We have to wait until after midnight, and then I could eat meat. So then I was like, let's just go to 7-Eleven. I'll pick up some snacks or whatever, and then we'll go get food later after midnight. So we stop at 7-Eleven, right? And I get like peanut butter M&Ms or something, and then I look in the window and they have like these like shish kebab things, and I was like, oh, I'll take one of those shish kebabs or whatever, right? And then I go and I eat it, and I take the first bite, and then I look down, I'm like, this is meat. Like it just defeated the whole purpose of not eating meat. Yeah.
I got a similar story to that. I tried to give up sweets.
There you go.
And it didn't go too well.
Mm-hmm.
My I think it was my aunt. She made this really good chocolate cake, and I'm a sucker for chocolate. I kind of just caved in, and I'm like, damn it.
Mm-hmm. What are you guys' favorite Christmas movies? My favorite Christmas movies are Elf, Miracle on 34th Street. What else? Oh, It's a Wonderful Life. There's no really good Catholic, like strictly Catholic Christian movie, Christmas
there
movies.
Are no Catholic
No.
Like watching Passion of the Christ on Christmas is kind of. I know there's like a nativity movie. I think I used to like Little Drummer Boy, but that's fake. That's not a real story. It's like it has to do with Christ, but it's not real.
I watched Passion of the Christ on Easter, so
that's a good time to watch it. They said that they were coming out with a sequel to Passion of the Christ, and like it never happened. Is that still being made? I want it to be made.
Yeah, actually I have no idea, but I know on Netflix they made this I guess a movie or something like that, where it was like Jesus was like this Muslim dude, or something like that.
What?
Yeah, they try to remake like the story of the Bible.
Wait,
what? In modern times, and Jesus was like this black dude.
What? Are you talking about the Messiah? The Messiah?
Yeah.
No, that actually is about. Like they think it's the second coming of Christ, and he comes and he starts doing all these miracles or whatever. But then it turns out that he's actually the Antichrist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there is apparently this good show called The Chosen, and the lead actor who plays Christ is actually a devout Catholic, and he like prays the Rosary on his Instagram and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I want to start watching that. It's free too.
It's actually pretty good. Like the first season's got some like bugs in it, but
The Chosen.
Season, actually, I think they kick it up. Yeah, Chosen. Yeah. But season 1 does like the guy who plays Jesus is probably him, and I think Nicodemus are like the best actors in that show.
The guy that plays Christ. You said.
Yeah.
I gotta try and watch it. But how are they doing it? Like how is everything biblical, or like are they taking like creative like thing? Like are they being creative with it, where they're like adding stuff that's not really in the Bible? They're just putting in dialogue and stuff.
Little bit, yeah, but it's not too bad. Season 1's okay. Season 2, I think they kind of like turn it up a bit.
What's cool is that even though the creator or the director is a Protestant, he actually like talked with Catholics on how to portray Mary, because he wanted it to be accessible to Catholics too, and like he tried to make it very reverent and respectful of Mary in a way that wouldn't be like blasphemous. So that's pretty nice of him.
Yeah.
Wait, The Chosen shows the Blessed Virgin having labor pains. Pretty cringe. Is that? Do we not believe that? I don't even know what the Catholic stance is. That do we believe that she didn't have labor pains?
Well, growing up, I was taught that she didn't have any labor pains. It was just kind of almost done miraculously, because I guess Eve was supposed to not deliver in pain. So since she's the new Eve, like it says in Genesis that you.
Oh, here we go. Was Mary free? Here we go. Catholic answers right here. I've literally never heard that. That's crazy. Blah blah. Scripture teaches us that as a result of original sin, God would greatly multiply the pains of labor, not only for Eve, but for all women. Many fathers of the church and theologians down through the centuries deemed it fitting that Mary alone would be exempt from such pains as a sign of her unique holiness. Thus, Mary's freedom from the pains of labor is one of the many reasons for belief in her Immaculate Conception. The church has taught this as well on the level of the ordinary magisterium, though not with the same degree of authority with which it has taught that Mary remained an intact virgin in giving birth to Jesus. However, we should note that the fact that it has been taught on the level of the ordinary magisterium and that it was taught by many fathers of the church, this is significant. So basically, it is a teaching, but it is not a dogma. It's not infallible, but it is a teaching. We should regard it kind of as true,
it's
but
lowercase t tradition.
Right. It's we should regard it as true, but it's not like you would be a heretic if you denied it, I guess. Because it's not technically like definitively defined dogma. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so I guess that could be debated upon, but it's not really. I wouldn't consider that heretical.
Best Christmas movie: Eight Crazy Nights.
I will kill you. Actually, I went to see that in the movies when I was a kid, and like I don't know, it still seemed like a Christmas movie even though it's about Hanukkah. It's so weird. I don't know. It's like I don't even want to say what I'm about to say. Never mind, I'm not gonna say it. But I do like Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler is he was friends with Chris Farley, who died or whatever, and he made a song about him. And in the song, he like basically said how he was, even though he was like a party animal, no matter what, he never would miss mass on Sunday. I thought that was pretty cool. Oh. Where are we going? Have anybody else? Oh, Hentley Cox is raising his hand. Huntley Cox, what's up? You're allowed to talk now. How you doing?
I was just going to talk about Christmas movies.
Oh, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
You know, I'm gonna have to say the Santa Claus. You know, the one with Tim Allen in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's your favorite?
I'm a big sucker for Tim Allen.
Yeah, I was watching. There was like this. First of all, there was this trailer that was recut to make the Santa Claus look like a horror movie, which was done really funny. And then they were talking about the Santa Claus and how like it's like what he kills Santa Claus to become Santa Claus, and like none of the elves even care that they killed Santa Claus. Like he just shows up to the North Pole and they're just like annoyed with him. They're just like, oh yeah, you're the new Santa. Like, oh yeah, the other Santa's just dead. And apparently the original script was gonna have Tim Allen like shoot Santa Claus with a shotgun.
Was that a remix in 870? Just loads them up with buckshot.
I'm trying to think of. I watched this one which was a very corny. I'm like a sucker for like emotional, corny Christmas movies, like Hallmark stuff, right?
Christmas Vacation.
Mm-hmm. Christmas Vacation, that's a good one too. But there was this one called I don't know. It was like a Groundhog's Day with a girl for Christmas, if that makes sense. Like she like kept trying to get this guy to fall in love with her, and like she.
Oh, I think I've seen that one.
She kept like waking up on the same day, and like she would go on a date with the guy, and like he wouldn't like her, so she kept like trying or whatever. So that was.
She hit him with a car one time.
Not based. Oh man,
Hallmark movies are all the same, man.
They are, but I don't know. I'm a sucker for them. Like my taste in movies, like I like either like stupid grug brain action movies or like over emotional melodramas and depressing stuff. And like it's so weird, like my taste in movies and music too. If you looked at my Spotify playlists, right, it's like responsorial hymns, and then it's like morbidly depressing 14-year-old suicidal music. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me. My taste in everything is very, very strange. Oh man! Tomorrow I got to go to the city because there's this cookie place called Chip City, I think, and my friend brought me cookies from there one time, and they were literally the best cookies I've ever had in my life. And I said last Christmas that I was going to get them, and I totally forgot. But this Christmas I'm getting a bunch of them. They are like I don't even know how to explain it. Like they have these cookies with like all these different flavors. Like they have Nutella, peanut butter, like all these specialty cookies, and like they're super big and thick, and it's just the best cookies I've ever had in my entire life. I cannot wait to get them. Oh, you know what I gotta get? I gotta get eggnog too. I love eggnog. I keep forgetting to buy that.
I hate eggnog. How can you drink that stuff?
I love eggnog. Not with alcohol, obviously. Like just eggnog. I don't know what is in eggnog. Egg and nog. I don't even know.
Egg and nog.
That's funny.
It's milk and cream and the egg is made with as a meringue.
Is
So
it
it's
all?
sweet.
Is
You
it
put a
all
lot
that
of
egg or
sugar.
just egg whites?
No, it's like egg.
Spexo is
I
a
think you
confirmed
can add the yolk
nogger.
in a certain way. Yeah.
All right.
Basically, you know how you make like meringue or how you make custard? You do the same thing.
So it's like condensed milk, basically. It's really thick. It tastes like really like bad for you, but I love it.
Yeah, because it's like you use like whipping cream or whatever, and it's got a lot of sugar that you use to like make the meringue and like the sort of the yolk part. I used to make eggnog for Christmas a lot. I kind of forgot how to do it, but I made it with alcohol, but not to get drunk on, because it's kind of an ingredient to thin it and give it a certain flavor.
Zoomer asked me who is my favorite Spider-Man. All right, so I'm gonna spoil the new Spider-Man now. So if you don't want to know, don't watch the rest of this or whatever.
I
But
already watched
yeah.
it.
But so obviously
Watched it. Who
in
cares?
the third act, the other two Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, show up or whatever, and they help Tom Holland defeat the five of six sinners, or whatever it's called. And so my favorite Spider-Man used to be like Tobey Maguire, but now after this movie, it's definitely Andrew Garfield. He totally redeemed himself, and like his Spider-Man movies were probably the worst ones, like they were badly done. But he is the best actor, and he's the best like the best emotional Spider-Man. And this movie where he's talking about Gwen, he starts crying, and then he catches MJ, and like he like redeems himself from letting Gwen die and stuff like that. I thought he was the best actor. He had the best redemption arc out of everybody. So I think Andrew Garfield is probably my favorite Spider-Man, even though he has the worst movies. And also Andrew Garfield in general is just a great actor, from The Social Network to Hacksaw Ridge to Silence. Silence is a great Catholic movie if you haven't seen it. It's about these Jesuit priests before they were cucked. These Jesuit priests go to Japan to find a priest that got kidnapped or something like that, and it's really good. You should watch it if you haven't. It's like one of the best Catholic movies I've seen.
Best part about Spider-Man 3 is that Spider-Man is in a mixed race relationship. Let's go.
Yeah, finally diversity. That's what we want. That's what we wanted.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
brother.
but you know what's funny? It's like so Mary. So whatever, we know that they made Mary Jane black, even though she's not really Mary Jane. She's Michelle Jones Watson. So I don't even know what they're trying to do with that. But they made Ned Leeds, who in the comics, he's like this jacked blonde guy, right? Like he in the comics, and now he's like this short, fat Indian dude or whatever he is.
He's
Asian
like a
dude.
native Hawaiian. He's like native
Yeah,
Hawaiian
he's a
/
Polynesian.
Indian.
Is he?
Yeah,
fat
half
Polynesian
Polynesian, half
Yeah, look at
half
this.
Polynesian, half Indian, half.
Hold
My
on. So
lord.
I guess Ned Leeds was what's it called? Was Hobgoblin in the comics, right? So let me see if I could see this. Hopefully I don't have anything. Okay. Crap.
Favorite scene is when I'm gonna spoil this. I don't really care. The favorite scene is when they
you
killed
cannot do
Aunt
that.
May.
I can't. Is what? Oh yeah. I can't.
That was awesome. I was laughing.
I can't figure out how to do this on my computer. But anyway, so I don't know if you saw that, but Ned Leeds is like this little fat short guy, and now oh yeah, I got yours. Oh okay. He was like this super jacked blonde guy, and now he's like this short Hawaiian fat guy. I don't know. It's just whatever. It's expected now. But like I said, I learned to enjoy things for like what they are, for entertainment value. I know that everything's cucked. I know everything's paused. I know it's all agendas and stuff like that. I understand that, but I still can enjoy it and just have some entertainment. Just let me enjoy things.
Let me consume.
Yeah, exactly. I like to consume. Don't get me wrong, I consume mostly Catholic stuff, but I also like to consume grug-brained entertainment. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I really don't like the whole purity spiraling thing. Like, I mean, I if I could, I would play more video games. I just can't because I have no time anymore. And instead of playing video games right now, I'm doing a live stream talking about Catholicism and Christmas. So there you go. Shows maturity.
Speaking of which, of Catholicism, have you seen Daredevil yet? On Netflix.
Have I seen? I think I watched the first 2 seasons or something. It was pretty good. They just brought Kingpin back in Hawkeye, and Daredevil was in the new Spider-Man. Did you know that?
No, I did not. I didn't know about the Kingpin thing, but I didn't know Hawkeye was a thing until literally a couple days ago, and I literally did not care at all.
Oh yeah. So Kingpin.
I hate like the.
Kingpin came back in Hawkeye.
I hate the.
You hate what?
Oh yeah.
What do you hate?
No, I hate like the Disney Plus.
Really?
Marvel stuff.
It's good. Hawkeye was good. Loki was all right. Loki was all right. WandaVision was not the biggest, not the greatest thing. I didn't like WandaVision. Winter Soldier was horrible. And
The Eternals was absolutely garbage.
I didn't even see that.
Watched.
I didn't even see that yet.
I saw it. I saw it with my friends.
To make the first trans superhero. I'm getting very angry.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't. Oh, yeah, Tom Holland said like he wants a gay Spider-Man and stuff. It's so oh my gosh.
Come on.
So stupid.
To me, like
I want a
the
gay
only
Spider-Man
like really
and a trans Captain America.
Yo,
I'm not gonna watch a single
what?
Marvel movie until that happens.
What was the other guy saying?
Like Father Mike Schmitz, he's another good one. He did like a little talk on his like list of acceptable superheroes because he's like way more into that stuff than I am.
Mm-hmm.
But like me, like there's only like a couple. Batman Daredevil, Punisher, and Wolverine. Like those four. Anything beyond that to me is just ugh.
I like Batman. I like the Joker, obviously. I've always loved Spider-Man since I was a little kid, so Spider-Man has like a special place in my heart. But yeah, other than that, there's nothing else like really cringe that like I like. Like superhero movies is probably the cringiest thing that like I really like. And the music I listen to, but the music I listen to, I don't think is really cringe. It's just depressing and weird. But as far as like something that like everybody likes, all this consumer stuff, like I'm part of like the consumer person, it's definitely superhero movies. I just like I like action and CGI and all that stuff.
For what honestly, for like what the Marvel movies are, if you take them as just like junk food movies, they're pretty good and entertaining. But if you actually are looking for like meaning and art, they're terrible.
Yeah.
So just take
that's what people think. Like, oh, this isn't
turn your brain
off.
off.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this isn't art. This isn't blah blah blah. Like Martin Scorsese is being all pompous and stuff like that. He's like, it's not cinema. It's not real art. And it's like, shut up, bro. Like, who cares? It's just fun. Like, learn to have fun. Nobody's saying like, and what's art? Movies that win Oscars, where now they have like a diversity quota in Oscars. Oh, that's art. The more
Oscars suck.
Yeah, exactly. Like a freaking a movie about gay cowboys and like whatever wins the Oscars. Like that's what you're judging cinema on.
Oscars, a movie about like a father taking his like kid away to transition. So like that's
yeah, Mark Wahlberg. That was another thing. I just saw this Mark Wahlberg trailer, right, where he has a gay son or something like that, and he goes on like a cross country mission to spread awareness of bullying gay people because his kid killed himself or something like that. It's like, bro, you are
more bullying.
Yeah, you are like you say you're a devout Catholic. You post all this stuff about how you're going to mass all the time on your Instagram and stuff like that, and you're starring in like these movies. And don't get me wrong, he starred in other degenerate movies like Boogie Nights and stuff like that. But he also said that he regretted that, and ever since then he's been doing like action movies and like other stuff that isn't like really promoting too much degeneracy or whatever. But like, I don't know, man. These people that say they're Catholic and then totally act not Catholic.
It's like
that's like most Catholics
at some point.
It's like 90% of Catholics don't act Catholic.
It's like 90% of Catholics. Like 90% of Catholics, they say they're Catholic and they support things like abortion and feminism. So.
Yep. Nominally Catholic by name only.
It's really sad. It's really sad.
Yep.
Like I see like
opponents. Our worst opponents always seem like people from the Old and the New Testament specifically, if you know what I mean. Just it's very odd how it always.
Wow.
It's very odd how it always happens.
Hot take. All right. Anybody else have any questions or anything before I go? Or are you good? Anything? No?
Well, I got a question. In one of my classes that is coming in the next semester has to do with English, and is supposed to debate on topics that, let's just say, are if I ever get into them, probably will be on optical. It's like Christian religion, feminism, abortion, and other stuff. So, do you have any suggestions when it comes to that, like debating? Because it's like a class, and I cannot miss it.
What? So you have a debate class, and the topics are controversial topics?
Yeah, but like immigration, abortion, feminism, and stuff like that, and even like identity.
I mean, yeah, I would try to pick a less controversial topic, or I mean, if you're gonna do like something like immigration, just talk about like I mean, you could just be honest and talk about how it's like displacing and dispossessing Americans that have been here for generations, and you can even like pander to minorities and say how it's like costing blacks their jobs and stuff like that. Like you could always get around by telling the truth in a way that like panders to other people too. But what was cool? I had this debate class one time that was like, you had to pick a topic, right? And then like they asked you what your personal opinion on it is. So like if it was immigration, I guess, for example, it'd be like, well, I'm against immigration. They would be like, okay, well, you're going to debate in favor of immigration. So like it basically did this thing where like it basically forced you to try to win a debate arguing something that you don't believe in. So I thought that was like a really good way to like practice debating, I guess. I think more people should do that.
I wish
That's
I
what
could
my
like.
school does.
I wish like the topics were less controversial, but because they're like, okay, let's pick one of the most controversial topics and the most like dividing topics in the world, and let's see how people believe. And that's the part that it's like, I made the question. It's like, I wish the topics will be like, what's the best way to handle the economy or something like that, more
something
non
controversial, yeah. Well, everything is becoming controversial now, so you're not going to escape it. It's best to just be honest, but don't like ruin your life by being honest. I guess like
don't be
like
autistic.
yeah, exactly. Don't be honest.
Don't reveal
and,
your
like
power level.
yeah, don't go to work and start talking about Zionism or something. Like don't be retarded.
Don't
I
talk
guess.
about the third temple, flat Earth, and stuff.
Yeah.
What again?
Don't talk about don't red pill your coworkers on flat Earth. I actually did that, and this black kid that I know was telling me about like going about planets and how like time travel could exist and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, I don't believe in any of that. I was like, what do you mean? I was telling him about like the curvature and how like the dimensions of the Earth aren't what they tell us, and he was like, oh, so you believe it's flat? I was like, it's probably flat, but it's definitely not what they tell us. I don't believe in space and stuff like that. I just like went off on like a tangent against space, and he actually like agreed with me. He was like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. And then I realized that, oh, okay, I probably shouldn't be talking about this because I sound insane.
Yeah.
I got a funny story about something like that. So like one time I was talking about feminism and I was going off on a tangent to one of my friends. And I guess someone overheard that conversation I was having where I was saying some pretty based things. And I got detention for that. I got in massive trouble. And that's when I learned to hide my power levels more. So
yeah, I have a very like a story. I was like debating one of my friends about like the reason why like why is the birth rate so low? I was telling like, listen, it's not really about like the economy or like people have more wealth. It's because of the cultural status of of the country, especially here. Like this island is like. It's third world status. The economy is in the toilet. People live in like 40% of Puerto Rico's population. Yeah, 40% of the Puerto Rico's population lives in poverty. But we have the worst birth rate and fertility rate than Europe and Japan. I'm like, dude, look at this place. It's not because of the economy. It's because
of abortion. Abortion. Yeah, exactly. Abortion. Contraception, sexual revolution, drugs, the culture, importing immigrants that have a way higher birth rate, all of this stuff, women's rights, sexual liberation, all this stuff that took women out of the home. That is why the birth rate is low. And people also like they show like, oh, white people need to have babies and stuff like that. And it's like that doesn't like, okay, I think everybody should have babies because you should be Catholic and that's what we're supposed to do is have babies. But like even if you were to incentivize people to have babies with like tax subsidies or whatever, it's like if we don't stop immigration, then it doesn't matter. The demographics are still going to continue at the trajectory that they're going now because people from foreign countries have way higher birth rates than American white people, So it's like people like oh, we need to promote white people having babies. It's like that's not going to do anything unless you actually get in power and stop immigration. Like it's
yeah, that's what I told my friend.
That 50% of black people and like 50% of Mexicans are going to vote Republican in the next election.
Oh yeah, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, I saw. So did you see what Paul Gosar? Paul Gosar is so awesome. I love Paul Gosar. He said,
he's based.
Yeah, he was like, he retweeted Cat Turd or something, and Cat Turd was like, all these illegal immigrants coming here, they're going to vote 60 to 70% Republican or whatever. And Paul Gosar retweeted. He quote tweeted or quote gabbed or whatever, and he was like, press X to doubt plus ratio. Oh, that's so funny.
I can't believe people. I know people that believe in that stuff. It's so nutty. It's so nutty.
It's so goofy.
Because it's like they said like in the last election, like a Mexican, like the Mexican vote was increased by like I don't know, like 15% or whatever.
What did Trump spent like millions of dollars to try to increase the black vote and got like what 1 or 2%, if that, and still lost the national election. It's Blexit. Yeah, Candace Owens is gonna lead Blexit. This is why like I'm so like I'm just over it. I'm over politics, bro. It's so corny. It's so everything is so gay.
Honestly.
Like,
the only thing I gotta say to like people that are like obsessing over politics and all that stuff is just like, dude, shut up and go to mass, man. Like, pray.
Yeah.
Like,
word. How? Yeah. Stop
worrying. Stop grass, bro.
Stop worrying about the conditions of the world and start worrying about the condition of your soul. Are you in the state of grace? If you died right now, are you going to go to heaven or are you going to go to hell? Right? Are you going to be able to receive communion this Sunday? That's what you should be worrying about. That should be first and foremost. Are you living a good Catholic life? Anything else besides that is secondary. We could worry about politics and the state of the world after that, but first you need to get good with God. That's the most important thing.
Very true. Very true.
All right, I'm out, guys. It's been like 2 hours. I'm gonna bounce, go chill with my wife. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. I just finished the script for the second episode of my Catholic series, so I'm gonna record that probably tomorrow or the next day. That'll probably be out after Christmas. So I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, and if I don't see you, a Happy New Year. Thanks for everybody for joining me. May God bless you. Make sure you go to Mass on Christmas at the 12 o'clock Mass, Christmas Eve, whatever.
Yeah,
Christmas
I
Eve
promised
night.
that to my
I'm so
grandma.
excited.
Yeah,
I promised to my grandma to go because she's devout Catholic.
Awesome. All right, guys. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Have a great night. May God bless you. Bye.
Merry Christmas.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
See ya.